Hold what you got. It had been 10 years since Ford beat Ferrari at Le Mans and had won races using the Shelby and Boss Mustangs against other factory race cars. This time, instead of Ferrari, the world champion was now Porsche, and Ford's answer to Porsche's dominance on the racetrack was the new Zakspeed Fox Mustang. This new Mustang used highly advanced features such as Kevlar body panels, 19-inch wheels, and a 600-plus horsepower four-cylinder turbo engine. It proved to be one of the only cars capable of beating the Porsche 935, which was no small feat. And to understand just how much of a monumental task it would be to actually beat a Porsche 935, you need to look at what the Porsche 935 was actually capable of. In the mid-1970s to early 80s, the Porsche 935 Turbo was one of the fastest race cars on the racetrack, and Ferrari couldn't touch it. The Porsche 935 used a twin-turbo, flat, 6-cylinder, 3-liter engine capable of producing 500 to 700 horsepower, with some versions using a large single turbo. Of course, this engine was also capable of easily producing 1,000 horsepower, but that was not an ideal power level for surviving 12 to 24 hours of endurance racing. The Porsche 935 Turbo had a top speed of 220 miles per hour, but if you take a closer look at its specifications, you'll notice that it is capable of running an 8.9-second quarter-mile time. That's fast. And if you think your Dodge Demon could beat a 935 on the road course, think again. The Dodge Demon uses extremely floppy suspension and weighs more than the planet Jupiter. Unfortunately, the Dodge Demon would flip off the road course and most likely cause a small nuclear explosion. By the time Ford was getting back into racing using the Zakspeed Mustang, Porsche had already won Le Mans using the more advanced version of the 935, called the K3 in 1979. The Mustang had to battle it out with the K3 and K4 versions of the 935. In the 1980s, if you wanted to be the fastest street car on the road, you didn't buy a Ferrari. No, you didn't buy a Lamborghini either. So maybe you were thinking, all right, well, I'll get a Porsche 959 instead. Nope, too slow. And don't even think about the knockoff dollar store brand 935, which was the slow, slant-nosed Porsche. Nope, you bought an actual 935 turbo to drive around on the street, and since your quarter-mile time was low 9 seconds to high 8s, you were pretty much the fastest car on the streets. But get this, the Zakspeed Mustang was capable of beating the Porsche 935 Turbo. But it didn't start in America with the Mustang. No, it all started in Germany. So let's take a look at the Zakspeed Mustang's actual roots. What is it? A spaceship? No. More like a rocket ship. This is the Zakspeed Capri. And here you're going to see the Zakspeed Capri battle it out with the Porsche 935 K3. Which is pretty much the same situation that the Porsche 935 drivers found themselves in when facing off with the Zakspeed Mustang back in the United States. You'll notice that 935 can't shake the Zakspeed Capri. Oof, got him. Now that's how you put that huge front splitter to good use. Just knock those Porsches right off the track. The Zakspeed Capri and Mustang were two of the most radical cars Ford ever made. The Zakspeed Capri was the basis of the Zakspeed Mustang, and both cars shared their suspensions and drivetrains. The most obvious differences being one started out as a Capri and the other a Mustang. With the addition of a custom space frame and Kevlar body kit, added to the stock body shell, you now get a completely different car than what you'd normally find on a regular Mustang or Capri. Both the Capri and Mustang had their floor pans replaced with full body length aerodynamic floor pans which used ground effects hidden underneath the floor. This would create suction onto the ground and was said by Porsche drivers to actually be the first thing you would hear before you even heard the engine as it passed you by. Twist the bronze boost knob to the right for your choice of either 500 or 700 horsepower, but I'd lay off from using too much boost because despite all the awesome things these cars were capable of, the 4-cylinder was unfortunately their Achilles heel. Under prolonged high boost, the small engines would eventually explode. However, this is still true today with many high horsepower, boosted 4-cylinder rally cars. It's just the nature of the beast. Both cars used coilovers with titanium springs. Even though these Fords were high-tech, they still used a live, solid rear axle, not an independent rear suspension. The Zakspeed Fords, Porsches, and many other Group 5 race cars were some of the most wild-looking cars ever made. From the green, psychedelic valve covers to the brightly colored paint jobs, these cars really remind me of the late 1970s, early 80s science fiction concept art from Jodorowsky's Dune. While the Zakspeed Capris are still shown at car shows and historic race events, the Zakspeed Mustangs remain missing. The last known location of the Zakspeed Mustangs are in a private museum located in Pennsylvania called Three Dog Garage. Hopefully they are being restored, and we shall see them in action once again. But we may never know. It still remains a mystery.